This is going to be a tutorial on Google Maps. I'm going to walk you through what Google Maps can do and do for you. I find the system just fascinating because it has all sorts of possibilities, many of which I think most folks either don't know about or don't use. So I open Google Maps by going to my Google search page and clicking up here on the little tic-tac-toe box, which when I open it, one of the dots is Google Maps. And when I click that, here's what I get. It has chosen the location of my computer to set up a map. I am right now in my house in Kailua on Oahu. And this little spot right here is where I am. And if I put a particular address up here in the search box on Google Maps, it will do the same thing actually that I do right now. Let's do it that way. 353 Awakea Road. I've been there before, so I could click this again. And there I am with a closer view and a street view of my address in Kailua. Now, as soon as you have a location up here in the search box, there are several things you can do without anything more than clicking. One of them is find out what is nearby. And when I click there, it allows me to choose from hotels nearby. There are not any in Kailua. Bars and pubs nearby, or restaurants nearby. Let's try that one. So all of a sudden the map expands and pulls up a whole bunch of these little red items, which are restaurants nearby 353 Awakea Road. And if I click on one of them, let's see, I kind of like Bachi Bistro. If I click on that, I get a new location icon at that spot, and I can get directions from where I am to that spot. Notice it puts a picture of Bachi Bistro over here. And if I click directions, it will show me directions as to how to get there from my house, including places where the traffic is slow or really slow, orange or red. And coming over here, if I click on details, I could get actually specific directions, right turn here, etc. It tells me how far it is from where I am to where I want to be and how long it will take to get me there by car. That's the default option, is by car. But if I wanted to find out how long it would take to walk, I can click this icon up here and it will show me the walk path and how long it will take me to walk there. 22 minutes. It will also tell me how long it will take to get there on a bicycle. Notice it shows a slightly different route I'm really not sure why. Probably because of the existence of bike paths in some places and no bike paths in others. And also because this is a main drag across here, and making a right at this corner, come on, back here, making a right at, whoops, that corner onto Ku'ule Drive and then an immediate left, that's hard on a bicycle. Somehow I managed to click myself into the Kailua Elks Lodge, which was not what I intended. Let's see if I can back up here. Nope. Well, yes, here we go. We're back going to Bachi Bistro. Now, it will even tell you if how long and what buses you need to take to get there by public transportation. And I think that in this particular case, there is no, it's still telling me how to get there to walk. Because there is no bus that goes from where I am to Bachi Bistro. So that's one thing you can immediately do when you have two destinations on Google Maps. And you can add a third destination. You can click here and say that after you go and have dinner at Bachi Bistro, you're going to go to the Kailua Elks Lodge right here and get the directions and the details as to how to do that by walking or by car, etc. And if you have just two items on this directions calendar, you can swap their location. See, if I take the Kailua Elks Lodge out of here, I then have this option of taking my current location and going to Bachi Bistro in that direction, or swapping them, going the other way. And it may, in fact, find a different route to go the other way, depending on delays and general patterns of traffic. I think that Google Maps is very flexible and very useful if you're traveling in a place where local streets are complicated. There are one-way streets, and sometimes it's better to go one way than the other in different directions between the same 2 points. There are also different options as to how you display this information or how it calculates the time and the duration, the time that it will take to do a particular route. Right now it's set to and measures the number of minutes it will take to get to these two places with the option of leaving now. You can also depart at a particular time or arrive by a particular time. And it will calculate the time that it will take under those circumstances, which can be quite different if you're talking about going a considerable distance during rush hour. So that's very useful. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Yes. Then there are other options. You can avoid highways. You can avoid tolls. You can avoid ferries. And it will recalculate your time to travel with those constraints. Now let's go back to this, or go back to the map and just look at some of its general characteristics and capabilities that aren't involved in directions, which is what we clicked to get where we are now. So if I X out of this place, the Bachi Bistro that I put in, and I X'd out of the directions. Now, if I X out of that location also, I can come over here to the map and change the display. First of all, right now it's a map view, but if I click down here on the left, it becomes a satellite view, an actual satellite view of the town of Kailua on the island of Oahu. Here's a golf course, for example. You can actually see the sand traps in the right next to the green. Helpful in planning. And for this view, you can change the scale. I'm now zooming out, and I can see all the way past the Marine Corps base at Kaneohe and all the way out into Kaneohe Bay. Or I can zoom back in. I could change the location, for example, and zoom back in to, let's see where I am now. I am over here in a housing area next to the canal, and I can, in fact, zoom right into somebody's backyard on the canal and maybe even see them sunbathing if they were there at the time that this satellite view was taken. I find that fascinating. All right, zooming back out again. One of the things that I really like is the ability to look at the street view of various places. There's this little brown man here in the lower right corner. And if you grab him and pull him out, come on, I've lost him, and drop him on one of these blue lines. Wherever there is a blue line, it means that Google has run their little truck with the camera on the top down that street, and they have taken continuous pictures of both sides of that street and can show you what that produces. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, here comes this guy. I've lost him. He won't drag. You drag him over so that the circle below him is on a blue spot. And when you let it go, you will get to see the street view of that spot. There, maybe it worked. Yes, here is 117 Palapu Street in Kailua. And if you click on this arrow that's there, well, first of all, if you change this orientation, you can look down the street there on Palapu Street, and you'll see an arrow. When you click that arrow, it will move you down the street. If I click it again, here's this house right here. I click it again, it'll move down the street some more. So now the house is behind us on the right, and we're almost down to the end of the street. And once you have done that once or twice, you can then use your right and left arrow keys to swing all the way around, and then you can use your up and your down arrow keys to move down that street. And you can wander around the town of Kailua to your heart's content, seeing what Google's camera saw the day that it took this picture. That truck was behind them, and I'm now backing up in that lane, and the truck is following. And you will see that, there is a vehicle waiting for these cars to pass. I'm going to keep going, and there's more traffic. He never came out before we got down there. Can't show you that. At any rate, the whole time we're doing that, the little brown man is going down this street, and it shows you where he is. Let's go back to my house, and you can wander. I will help you wander around my neighborhood. To get out of Street View, you click this X up here in the upper right corner, and it takes you back to the last place you were on the map. And I am going to go back to my house right there. I'm going to zoom in. There we are. Now I'm going to grab the little man, I hope, and carry him up here and let him loose on my street. There we are. And that is what was going on in my driveway on the day that the Google Street View truck with its camera came by. So if I now turn this around a little bit and click on the street, I can now move. See, let me swing around. There's my house again. It was recycle day. That's the recycle bin. It was recycle day, the day that the Google thing came through. And here is my next door neighbor's driveway. And now if I go down here, I can go around the corner and go down the street, passing somebody's, I wonder what that was. And I can, in fact, look down the canal, which is a block down the street from me. That canal goes to the bay. If I get out of this here, you will see that right now we're looking down this canal, and that canal goes down and connects with another canal, and that canal goes out to the ocean. Now, there are other things you can do besides just looking at Street View. Many people post on Google Maps. They find some picture that they really like and they put it up. And if you are curious and like to see what goes on in various places, you sometimes can find some interesting pictures just by clicking nearby. Let's see. It's not bringing them up. So let's try this. Ah, yes, here, see? Each one of these little blue dots is where someone has taken a picture. And here is a place where Google has mapped the street, which isn't the street, it's the beach, by just walking and carrying the camera. Each one of those cameras that goes on the top of that van can be taken off the van and put on your shoulders and walked anywhere that you can walk. And if I let go here, maybe, no. Let's see. Let's try this again. There we are. That's the view from that particular spot on the beach. This is the beach park itself. It's on the other side of the dunes from the actual beach. Apparently, I dropped it on this side of the dunes. The dunes are here. So let's see what happens if I take this up here and drop it about there. There we go. I did it. Here's Kailua Beach. And I can now use my arrow keys to walk down the beach. Each time I click, I move down the beach, not very far because this was being done at a walking pace instead of the pace of that Google Maps van. But you can do a lot of exploring on Google Maps and see a lot of interesting places, some of which you probably will never get to in your lifetime. But if you're curious what's over that hill, this is worth some of your time. I have spent a lot of time doing this just because I'm curious and I like looking at exotic places. It's probably really not that productive in my life, but I sure have enjoyed it. So that's a good introduction to Google Maps. Let's look at some other things that Google Maps can do for you. Down at the bottom of this Search Google Maps menu on the left of the map, there are some symbols. This one here is groceries, places where you can buy groceries on this map. And here are all the groceries with the little grocery cart shown. You can do the same thing you did about getting directions to get there. Or you can come over here and look at their ratings. Or you can get rid of groceries and go to places that will give you food delivery. All of these places are places where you can have food delivered from their location. And here are their, tells you whether there's dine in, there is not, whether there's takeout, and whether there's delivery. Now, in the times of this coronavirus, that's what you will find, either takeout or delivery or both, or uh, but not dine in. If we get rid of that, we can go to hotels. And you find a bunch of bed and breakfasts, actually. You find Kailua Guest House. It tells you the price per night. You can actually check in, put in check-in and check-out dates, and it'll tell you availability. We get done with hotels. You can go to even more things over here, the 3 dots, and that will show you where banks and gas stations are. Here are gas stations. There's a Shell here, there's a Texaco there, etc. Very, very helpful information. Oh, and in each case, when you find a place you're interested in, you can just click here and go direct to their website, which would probably be very useful in the case of the bed and breakfasts and other accommodations that they list under hotels. Now, supposing you are in Kansas City, but you have a hankering for someplace else. Well, you clear the search and you put in what you're hankering for, like Venice. Venice, California? Venice, Florida? No. Venice, Italy, comma, IT. Venice, Italy. And there we have a map of Venice, Italy. Here is the city. But to see what it's really like, you have to, wait a minute, I lost it. Here we are. Here's Venice. You have to expand it. And after you expand it, if you want to really see what it's like, you need to drag the little brown man again and drop it on a blue line. And when you do that, aha, you find that you are on a workboat that Google hired to drive around the waterways of Venice, Italy. And that can be fascinating because Venice is a fascinating place. And if you want, you can drag the little brown man. Whoops, wait a minute. Let's see, how do you do this? Well, I used to know how, and I've tried it before, but right now it's not working. You can, in fact, run this little man around until you come to an intersection at, see, I'm watching over here now. Till you come to an intersection there, and suddenly you're on a different route. and you can keep going into the city. I am going to drop off here and go over to this area, which is the plaza. So if I quit there and then grab my little man and take him, come on. Oh. Ah. To the Doge's palace, or that area at any rate. Let's see where I am if I drop him right here. Aha. I am in a little alley. And I think that I'm just at a specific spot and can't easily. Let me see. The Doge's palace is temporary. San Marco. I think this is the huge square of San Marco. Let's see what is available. Yeah, if I go here and drop it right there. Nope, not quite. But you never know. If I go down this path here, maybe I'm going the wrong way. Let's see. Whoops. Nope, that's where I want to go. Down this way. And here, I believe we are in that fascinating square near the Doge's palace. 18 Piazza San Marco is where we are. Whether I know where I'm going, yep, I think so. Been there, done that. Fascinating place. So, as I have said, there are lots of ways to use Google Maps, and one of them is for exploring interesting places. Have fun. I hope this has been useful to you. If you have questions or other items about Google Maps that you'd like discussed or explained, please enter some comments underneath this video in YouTube. Thank you.